Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing this evening? Good, excellent, awesome. Well, I am so pleased to see all of you here supporting your loved ones. And to get started, if I can have everyone stand as you are able and welcome our graduates into the space. Yep. We're making sure the chairs make sense. Yes. Almost there. Yep. Thank you. And if everyone can be seated, welcome, welcome. Awesome. So hello, everyone. Some people have visited our graduations throughout the week, and I am pleased that we are here for this one. My name is Lindy Wagner, and I'm the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Inclusive Excellence, Education, and Development here at SIUE. And it's definitely my honor to welcome you to our 9th non-traditional graduation ceremony. And we celebrate these each semester for each of the graduations. So graduates, thank you for choosing to celebrate your accomplishments with us. It's a pleasure to see you here. And I'd also like to note that we do have some partners here in the space, as well as throughout campus, who help make these events possible. I want to say thank you first to the Kimmel Student Involvement Center, who we have some staff in the room here. Thank you for being here, which also means the Division of Student Affairs, of which they're a part. We also have our Division of Anti-Racism, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, which is where the Inclusive Excellence Education and Development Hub is housed. It's a lot of words, which is also the other staff that is in this space who have helped to make this event possible. So thank you to everyone there. And in addition, I do want to make a shout out too, because I see one of our deans is in here. Hi, Dean Leonard. Thanks for joining us. Yes, I get always excited when we have some senior leadership in the room as well to show some support to you as well. So we're privileged. We're really privileged to have you here today and to know that you've made it to this point in your time here with us and that you've persevered to graduation. So we really want to make sure that you're recognized today for that. I do want to direct your attention. Many of you, when you came in, you saw that there was a QR code at the desks when you checked in. If you scan those, you were able to go to a program booklet. And this is a little different than the one you're holding in your hand. The program booklet that is virtual has all of your lovely graduates' pictures if they submitted one, as well as their degrees that they're receiving and any sort of wonderful thank you message that they shared about the people who helped them get here. So that is that. And then a condensed version, which is just the program today, is what you hold in your hand. So they're a little bit different. So do make sure if you haven't scanned that code when you go out that you do, so you can see those lovely messages. So before we get started, I do want to offer just a little content to tell you what makes this a non-traditional graduation. So we get a lot of questions asked about this because people think, what makes a non-traditional student, right? So I wanted to share that the National Center for Education Statistics, or NCES, has identified 7 characteristics that are common to non-traditional students. To be considered a non-traditional undergraduate student, most people share one or more of these factors. So this might be your loved one who's here graduating. 1, maybe did not immediately continue education after graduating from high school. Maybe attends college part-time. Maybe you work full-time, 35 hours more or more per week. No small feat. Maybe you're financially independent, or maybe you have children or dependents other than your spouse, or you're a single parent. Maybe you have a GED and not a high school diploma, or you're an undergraduate student who is 25 years or older. So we have kind of all those criteria, which means your loved ones are somewhere in there. Multiple, 1, it doesn't matter, but we're excited to celebrate them here. So those students who have these characteristics, you also provide a very unique learning experience for your peers and for yourself. So in your classes, in your programs, and the services that are offered here are a much better place because of your experience and you being here in those spaces. So thank you. Thank you for bringing those unique experiences to our community and for showing who you are in our spaces. And so with that, because some of you may be single parents who attended part-time. Maybe you've divided your attention between being a full-time parent, family, and school. I am very confident that many of you have probably had to work full days while then writing a paper after work and then having to wake up very early to find any time to do anything else for yourself. So another reason we want to celebrate you. So because of the work you've done to arrive here, we're celebrating again this event for the 9th time. One of your peers, a fellow non-traditional student by the name of Miss Vivian Ward, asked in 2017, what could we do to celebrate the accomplishments of non-traditional students, as she herself was one. She was taking 1 to 2 classes a semester, working full-time, and balancing being a mom and a wife. Through it all, she persisted. Her story is no different than many of yours. However, because of her and the Non-Traditional Student Association here on campus, we now have this tradition to celebrate the graduation of students like her, like you. And I have the very great privilege of saying she is here with us today for the first time after starting it. Thank you for being here, Viv. We are so excited that she's joined us today. Yeah. Yeah, I told her when she walked in, I feel like she's a legend because we want to make sure that people know the history of these events. And when she walked in, I got excited. So I want you to know, like, she started this so that she could be seen, and I'm just really happy to have her. Thank you. It means a lot. So because she persisted and you've persisted, we are here today. So let's get the program going, right? So I'd like to say that without further ado, I want to begin our celebration with keynote remarks from our colleague and friend of the Hub, Kevin Wathen. Kevin earned his BS in psychology and his master's degree in public administration from SIU Edwardsville, right here, and is currently pursuing his doctorate degree in higher education leadership from the University of Missouri, St. Louis. Mr. Wathen served 6 years in the Illinois Army National Guard and was a dependent of the United States Air Force through his wife, Rebecca. Sorry, I missed that last mark. He's worked at SIUE for 14 years and currently serves as the Director of Military and Veteran Services here at SIUE. He also serves as the Southern Illinois Director of the Student Veterans of America and sits on the Illinois Veterans Advisory Council. At this time, please help me welcome Kevin to the stage.
Thank you, Lindy. And my 10 minutes doesn't start yet because I'm a talker, for those of you that know me, but she reminded me of something whenever you bring up those late night papers after a full day of work. I remember in my master's degree program, I was working in HR here at the time, and full day, go to class. Class starts at 5:30 and it is now like 9:30, 9:45, something to that effect. I'm still sitting in class. She hands out this article to read, and she's like, all right, go ahead and read this. And we have about 15 minutes left of class, and we'll just hit it real quick discussion. I could not get through the first paragraph. I've read that first paragraph probably about 30 times. And of course she says, Kevin, what do you think about, and I'm like, I am so sorry, but this just isn't happening for me today. So I really do appreciate those long nights and after those long days. So like she said, I am the Director of Military and Veteran Services here and a 2-time alum. Of course, I want to start off saying congratulations. You guys have climbed that mountain and found yourself kind of standing at the top here. And when Tarsha asked me about speaking here, my first reaction was, well, was I really a non-traditional student? And Lindy kind of talked about those. 18 years old, graduated high school, went directly to college, living in the dorm, supported by parents. Was I that? When I thought about it, I realized, yeah, I was really kind of non-traditional. As a matter of fact, not only was I non-traditional in my bachelor's program, I was non-traditional in high school. And I'll tell you how that was. But first, I want to talk about my dad. My dad was a coal miner in a small town not very far from here, and my mom was a high school dropout. So really, I was a first-generation college student. And my dad had opportunity. He told me that he was offered a scholarship to a college, but at the time the coal mine was hiring. And he had a choice to make because he had a brand new wife and a brand new baby. At the time. And of course, he chose the coal mine. And then he lived with that regret. That's what he told me. He lived with that regret for not taking that opportunity. And he said, go out and don't Sorry. Don't be like me. Sorry, he passed not too long ago. So go out and get an education. And he broke his body doing that job. He was a roof bolter. Anybody know what that is in the coal mine? The miner comes in, it clears out coal, and then in behind it comes a machine and a man that bolts the ceiling up so it doesn't fall and kill people. And he did that for 20 plus years, and 6 days a week, 10-hour shifts. So he made it clear that college was not an option, but something I had to do. And then one day during my junior year, he changed the topic a little bit and he said, yes, you're going to college and you're gonna have to figure out how you're gonna pay for it. Well, obviously that was a little bit different than what he'd been saying, and I was in shock, and I called an Army recruiter that night. And I said, I remember you came to our high school and you said that I could get free tuition. How can I do that? So the very next day he was at my coffee table. We were signing papers. And I joined using a split option program, which meant I went to boot camp between my junior and senior year in high school. Can you imagine what it's like to go to boot camp and then go back to high school? If you think you have senioritis as a normal senior, go ahead and add boot camp on top of it. And you can imagine the difficulties that I probably had. And I moved out of the house before I even graduated high school, and I was working as a waiter, and I had a part-time job also at the same time at Venture. Does anybody remember Venture? Okay, few people. For those who don't know, it was kind of like a Target, if you will. And then, of course, at the same time, I was also doing the National Guard. And then eventually, I trimmed down, and I say trimmed down because I just took one away. I became a full-time employee at the Alton Bell Casino as a security guard while still going to school here full-time. So what does that mean? That means I didn't really get to do the college experience that you see around here. I didn't get to join a fraternity. I didn't get to do student clubs, sporting events, or even really just hanging out in the quad. I came here, I went to class, and I left. I didn't explain all this just to talk about me. I explained this to give you one example of what it means to be non-traditional. And here's what I found when I did search on characteristics of non-traditional. First, there's no set definition and no exhaustive list. And Lindy talked about those, enrolling not just right after high school, having a dependent child, being a single parent, working full time, or being financially independent. So there's no set definition or exhaustive list. However, if you take a look at the definition, there's really one word that comes to mind as you listen to all of the things that Lindy said, and that's more. You had more responsibilities. Guarantee you had more bills, more weight on your shoulders. The only thing that you really had less of as a non-traditional student was time. I read the bios that were on the invitation and on the program that you were talking about. And what I saw there were people talking about their children, their spouses, and their job. Obviously, working here with military students, I have a ton of experience working with the non-traditional student. Each one of them, just like you carry more and you had less time to carry it. That trip up the mountain burned the legs and wrecked the back more than it did for others. I like to use the analogy of climbing a mountain because for those who know me, I'm an avid backpacker. When you wear a backpack, sometimes it feels like the uphill is never going to end. And I can tell you that there's a couple of guys that go backpacking with me, and I'm usually in the front. And when you're in the woods, especially going up a mountain, you can never see how close you are kind of to the top. And so you'll come up and the the switchback will turn, you'll come around some trees and the guys behind will be like, is that it? No, it's still straight up. But every once in a while, you look forward to those times where it's nice and flat. And when you do turn the corner and you have that, it feels good. The downhill, when you still have to go up, isn't quite as fun, because every step you take down, you got to take back up again. And of course, I'm generalizing a little bit, because traditional students have their own weight that they carry, obviously. However, I would say, because I've done hundreds of miles with a fully loaded backpack, and I've also done hundreds of miles with a day pack, nice little backpack with a snack and a water bottle in it. It's completely different. It's completely different. The difference between the wear and tear on the body between a day pack and a backpack is extreme. But the feeling of accomplishment of completing a day hike is also extremely different than completing a backpacking trip. So when I read those bios, again, I noticed the recognition and the sacrifice of family. I know how impossible it is to be here today without them. So when I see these young people in here, I'm talking to you young folks over here. I think it's great that you're here today to support your family. When I graduated with my master's, my best friend brought his daughter, and she's actually a student here at SIUE now, which is great. But it was important for her to see that her parents valued higher education, and everything that they were doing that took time away from those kids has led to this, and how important this is. While I was working on my master's, my wife would often state things like we were both in the program. She'd say, well, maybe when we finish this degree, we can take a vacation. Or one of my favorites was, hey, what did we get on that paper? Because I don't know, we would kick papers back and forth, and she would also always correct my passive voice and put commas in, because I'm not the greatest with commas. But today is a day to celebrate you and your accomplishment. I want to celebrate the fact that you had more to carry than others, but you did it. And you had less time than most other people that you shared a classroom with, but you did it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I really appreciate it. How about one more round of applause? Thank you, Kevin. And now we're very excited to recognize each graduate individually. As we read the names of the graduates, we'll be sharing a PowerPoint behind me with each graduate's names for folks watching our Zoom webinar, but also you can see it in here as well. Once the PowerPoint is completed and all the names have been shared, I'll ask everyone in attendance to make all the extraordinary noise that you would like to celebrate your graduates. I would also say you're more than welcome to take pictures, of course, as your graduates are crossing. And graduates, as you cross, we have our lovely Howard, who's getting to that spot right over there, to take your picture. So you're more than welcome to pose, do whatever you would like to do. He's got you. Additionally, if you see that there's a camera right there, that's to the Zoom right in front of him. You're by the balloons. So at the end of the stage. So if you know someone's watching on Zoom, you're more than welcome to give them a wave as you walk by as well. Okay, and then also once we've all made the exuberant noise and taken pictures and smiled and laughed and all the good things, then we'll kind of move on to the next part of the program. But I want to make sure you have those moments as well. And then graduates, when your name is called, I want you to remember that we honor you and we celebrate you. We're very excited that you've gotten to this point, and we want you to know that. And we also hope that when you cross the stage in your respective commencement exercises, that you wear this cord proudly and remember the accomplishments that you've made to get here. So with that, we're going to start we'll always recognize our bachelor's candidates and then any candidates that we have for graduate degrees. So with that, if I could have our graduates join me here on the side of the stage. That alphabet. Jada Bamberg, receiving a Bachelor of Science, major in Criminal Justice Studies, and a minor in Psychology. Daniel Flom, Bachelor of Arts, major in Computer Science, a minor in Linguistics. Amy Y. Short, receiving a Bachelor of Science, major Criminal Justice Studies. Andrea L. Young, receiving a Bachelor of Science with a major in Integrative Studies. Amy McCrary, receiving a Master's of Business Administration, major Business Administration with a concentration of Management Information Systems. You know, it's almost time. It's almost time for the exuberant sound. I want to make sure we get all of our pictures real quick. She knows her angles. If I can have all the graduates turn real quick, and if we can get a big exorbitant sound for your graduates. Marvelous. Graduates, please have a seat. Thank you all for your participation. And again, congratulations. Graduates, as you go out into the world and make your mark, remember that you are a proud SIUE Cougar and that you have left a legacy here on this campus and in the hearts of everyone that you've encountered along the way. Now, to remind you a little about how you are always a Cougar, we have Millie Clark from our SIUE Alumni Association here to share some thoughts with you now. Millie, I know Millie's ready.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'd like to say I am extremely proud, and I too sat in that seat, not that very seat, but I sat in your spot before, so I know what it's like to be a non-traditional student. And my name is Millie Clark, and right now I proudly serve as an at-large board member with the Alumni Association board here at SIUE. I'm excited to be part of your celebration. First off, congratulations on earning your degree from SIUE. You should be very proud of your accomplishments, and I commend each and every one of you for your hard work and your dedication to your education. As soon as you cross that commencement stage next week, you'll be joining more than 120,000 members of our alumni family spanning across the country and around the world, where you'll no doubt join the tradition of fellow alumni, making significant contributions to their professions and communities. SIUE continues to bring incredible joy to me and so many others in a lot of ways. During my time here as a student and still years later, the support and the desire to witness the success of fellow SIUE alumni is one of the most tangible and exciting parts of being on the alumni board. It is truly a privilege to welcome you into this alumni family. And I must say, the years that I have served so far, I have met and worked with some incredibly wonderful people. They are family. They will contact you, go out of the way, do anything that they can to do to help you and help you succeed and to get to where you want to be. They are a remarkable group of people. So I encourage you to remain actively engaged with our university through the Alumni Association. The Alumni Association will keep you informed about the university and encourage you to be involved in activities and initiatives, either on campus or through one of our new chapters or networks. And we have quite a few. You can look on any of Facebook, LinkedIn, and we also have, what is it? It's another one, I know. We have several. And finally, we hope to see you next week at Always a Cougar graduation celebration on Thursday, December 15th for Toast to Your Success as you enter the next chapter of your SIUE story. As you celebrate your amazing accomplishments with friends and family, know that you will forever be a valued member of the Southern Illinois University Edwardsville alumni family. Always a Cougar, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Millie. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, graduates were able to submit messages of thanks to faculty, staff, mentors, friends, all those who've been instrumental in their success here. So not only are those messages that the graduates shared in that program booklet, but I would like to take a moment to also join in a celebratory moment for those who got them here and those who have helped support them along the way. So let's give a loud round of applause for all the loved ones here. And so with that, I want to say thank you again one more time to our graduates for taking the time to be with us today. Thank you, Mrs. Vivian Ward, for being here as well. I'm excited that you're here to show where it started and now where we've become. And again, thank you one more time to our senior leadership. Dean Leonard, thank you again for being here. I hope that you have gained a lot of good insight from our speaker, Kevin. And I hope that you're excited about this next prospect of your journey in life from here and beyond. And we hope that you have enjoyed your time here at SIUE and that the impact on you is as great as the one that you've made on others. So with that, a final congratulations to your success. Go into the world, be yourself, be grand, be great. And don't forget to stop by the check-in table on your way out to get your certificate. And as a final note, if I could have the graduates stay one extra moment, Howard's going to take a picture of all of you looking beautiful together. And families and guests, if you wouldn't mind joining us to my left, your right, for some lovely reception, tasty treats, and your graduates will join you shortly. So with that, thank you very much.